When you make content that is specialized to a certain set of limited heroes, you have to do something with the ones that came before them. So why not buff them before you put them up again in a limited banner? For the first set of patch notes that they have released here on the Forerunners server this month, essentially what they decided to do is that they were going to pick on 3 heroes. We're going to buff them. They're all from the Cultist faction. So certainly they want to make sure that this faction is playable in content of the game. And also from what I'm seeing here, there are some changes to guild wards, and the Tower of Deception introduction has now been included in this. So they're getting it ready for the launch. And there's some other quality of life features that come along with them. But one of the bigger things, and this is expected, because listen, the last couple of limited heroes that they have introduced into the game have been up, they have really pushed the power creep in this game. So if you don't have Kigiri or Sun Wukong at very high awakenings, and you don't even have Dio-chan preferably at A1, you're going to be missing out on a lot of the endgame content that is currently available in the game. So if they're going to want to bring in back limited heroes, they have to improve them. They have to bring them up to that scale from those 3 that we just had. And so Anora is the first one that is going to get that rework. It's going to get that benefit, I guess, is in the sense here. So from what I'm seeing here, when it comes to Anora, her cost has been reduced to 19, which is this year has now been applied, as you can see here in the Forerunner server. The talent has also been enhanced. So now, when the stack cap of Ancient Spirit is reduced from 15 to 6, so here it is now stacking up to 6 times, and the Ancient Spirit increases Labor's attack by 3% now. So previously it was 1%. So essentially what we're doing here, I think, is Labor's damage is gaining 18% attack from the previous 15. So yeah, that's going to be a very nice buff there for him. Another change that they have made to Anora is on her ultimate. It's the Worm Dive. So now Labor has an expanded attack range when this ultimate is activated. So it's not only Anora's ultimate, but it's also Labor's attack range that changes from the original range that he had. So essentially, is the summon. Essentially, what it is here is that the summon is getting the benefit from this. He is going to gain the buff as being part of the rework here for Anora. And then in her first awakening, which you can see here, this now has changed from being able to immobilize the enemies from 1 second to 2 seconds. So that's essentially what we're looking at here, deals 20%. So there you go. Immobilized state is now 2 seconds. So essentially is an increase in CC and also of the summon. That's essentially what they decided to do here for Anora. It's Labor's ability to do damage and the expanded range that he is also gaining from this. So that's how they're going to buff this hero to make her a little bit more enticing to summon for her, especially for those that may just have, come into the game, especially after Sun Wukong and Kigiri. Another hero getting some love is Beelzebub. So here, the change for Beelzebub has to do with his talent. And so here it is. If he is part of the Cultist team, so you have to bring a Cultist Lord with him. He launches basic attack or casts the Plague of Ruin. He restores HP equal to 50% of that hero's, of Beelzebub's attack to one Cultist ally in the attack range. And we know that that is big. So he's going to be healing a teammate. That is a nice little addition that we can that he's been getting. Some of us like to use him for GvG, so maybe there is a Cultist team that we can come up with to try to see, especially with this very complicated Season 8 map. He might actually have some play there now if he's able to heal somebody within his attack range. So also, his Corrupted Swarm has been changed. So in this one here, during the ultimate, he now applies a 30% damage reduction to cultist allies in his damage range. So whatever content is coming, which they are giving an indication here that something is coming down the pipeline. If you bring cultist allies with him, one of them is going to be able to be healed by him, and then the other ones are going to get damage reduction. So those are the two additions now that Beelzebub is going to see in his kit now that he has been rewarded. And the last one is Beatrix. So Beatrix, yes, she needed a little bit of a buff, especially with this range, which is really awkward, I guess, is in a sense. You have to wait for the enemies to come to you so you can deal damage. That's essentially what comes down to her. So they did not fix that. That is still going to be the same range, but they changed a lot on her kit. So let me start here with the cost. So they reduce her cost, so she goes down from 22 to 19. Also, they added her to be part of the esotericist. Okay, so that pretty much means that based on who you pair with, whether it's Benoma or Cyrus, that you probably can get the Dream Eater to come into effect a little bit more frequently if you decide to make her an esotericist. Now, her talent, the ultimate talent here, it says when an enemy dies in range, it summons one Dream Eater. So then the Dream Eater cooldown is reduced from 15 seconds to 10 seconds, which is what you can see here. This has a cooldown of 10 seconds now instead of 15 seconds. So essentially, we're going to be able to bring in more Dream Eaters into the field when she does kill an enemy. After the death of a Dream Eater, the rage restores to Beatrix is increased by 3%. That's exactly what is here in this talent. So they're giving her more rage is essentially what's coming down the pipe here, just to make sure that she can come back to her ultimate a little bit quicker. Her Soul Fist, also, they changed the amount of damage that she is going to be able to do. Not only her, but the Dream Eater's damage, okay? So now it increases to 50, 55, 60, 70% after you skill this up. So yeah, so they're trying to make sure that she deals a little bit more damage. The thing with her is her range, right? You have to wait for things to kind of come. So this has to be some, I don't know. We're going to have to test to make sure that she's able to clear this stuff really quickly, because that's what we need her to do, especially with this range right here. Then the other thing is the ultimate rage cap is reduced by 100. So yeah, I can see that. So it's now 900. If you skill that up, it goes to 800. And the initial one is 700 skilled to 600. So yeah, so essentially what they're doing here with her talent, the change in the talent, giving her rage, the Dream Eater's cooldowns, they're trying to get her not only one, to be able to use her rage a little bit more frequently, but two, that she is also going to be able to do more damage during that extended run that she has on the field. Her passive, the Spirit Drain, also is going to see a change. So previously, she was able to gain attack based on how many summons the ally unit that you brought along with her was able to get into the battlefield. Now, instead, she's going to automatically gain 10% attack. So that, again, goes to trying to get her to do more damage. And then if you do bring an ally that does summon a summoner and then spawns on the battlefield, she then gains the hero's attack by 1%. And that stacks up to 5 times based on how many skills you put into it. So this can go up to 5% if that is the case. So it's essentially what they're doing is so from previously you could get up to 10% attack with it. Now they're making it so you can gain the 10%, and then this can stack up based on the summoners up to 5. So it's 15%. So you're gaining 5% from this overall overhaul here by Beatrix. And her awakenings, they definitely changed a lot here. So each stack now with Spirit Drain increases attack by 2% with her first awakening. So that was one of the changes. And the Dream Eater's death can also grant 1 stack of Spirit Drain. Her Awaken 2 changed from reducing her cost even further. So they already gave us all the extra attack from the changes in her passive and her ultimate. So in this one here, they're just going to reduce her cost even further by 2. So that will bring it down to 17. In her third awakening, changes to increases the number of Dream Eaters summoned by the ultimate by 1. So that's essentially what we see here. And the talent is triggered. There's a 25% chance to summon 2 Dream Eaters. Yeah, so it's essentially what they're trying to get her to do. They're trying to get her to do more damage, and they're trying to get more summons onto the field so she does more damage along with her summon. So that's essentially what it is. And then her Awaken 4, now this gains the attack. This is where we gain the attack now. So they changed that. And the 5th one, they also changed it. So now, when the Dream Eater dies, Beatrix restores 10% of her HP. All right, it doesn't seem that, overwhelming, but at least there is something to it. So if you get her to A5, she can now have some type of life steal effect from the Dream Eater dying. Okay, so the next change is to Guild Wars. And on this one, use it with caution, all right? We all know that the game already has problems with auto runs, especially in Arena. And in some instances, auto runs right now, whether it's gear dungeons or faction trials, that is all messed up too. So in the overall scheme here of what they are introducing here, is that they are going to give us the opportunity. If you guys want to read this, you go ahead. I'm not going to prevent you from doing it. So that's why I put it on the screen. All right. But essentially what's going to happen is that they're going to give us the ability to create plans of our attacks on certain defenses when it comes to Guild Wars. Then we're able to then make a code out of it. And then we're going to be able to share that with our guild. All right. Then if the user wants to copy that attack, they can go ahead and do auto battle. If there is one thing for those of you that are GvG savvy, and you should know this, is that auto fights, they screw up the timings. They're not reliable one bit. They didn't say that they optimized the auto battle feature or auto fight feature of GvG. They just said that they're introducing this feature to you. Now, if you're a guild that doesn't really give a crap about GvG, this will play right into your head. But for all those of us that do, go into the content and try to puzzle solve this, yes, this would be beneficial for us to be able to share it with our guildmates if they don't want to go watch the replay. But to expect the auto fight feature to work as efficiently as it is with the other game modes, I wouldn't even trust it. All right. So, okay, let's call this a quality of life feature. If you want to and you want to try to use it, sure. But I would suggest is look at the attack plan and then make sure that you also are taking into account things that happen in battle on top of what you may just go ahead and click auto fight. All right. For example, let's just say, for example, right? Let's say your guildmate, because of how they affiliated their heroes or maybe the BP differences that you have, that they were able to get somebody to use their ult, right? Because they were able to get one of their demon soldiers to survive a little bit longer. If you go ahead and you just click auto fight and then run that through, and you don't specifically activate the ultimates that you need to get activated in order for the rest of the run to happen, it's just going to fail on you. This here is the lazy man's GvG. It's essentially what's coming down to. So I can understand that the developers were trying to say, okay, we're trying to give you a shortcut, but those that are going to be very heavy on GvG are going to take it seriously. This thing this thing is just going to be a failure that happens because the auto fight is not set up correctly. So yes, sorry if the developers are watching this. Nice feature, sure, but you have to fix the auto fight feature because it's not reliable. All right, starting on 4:14 here in the Forerunners, we're gonna have the Tower of Deception. So this is it's going to be a Doom Tower type of event that other games have, right? So it's a tower climbing challenge, resets every 4 calendar weeks. We have a time frame to scale up and defeat it. All right, it will consist of common stages, boss stages, a hidden chamber. Where have I seen this before? All right. Chamber stages requires player to select challenging modifiers with rewards based on the maximum number of modifiers selected per attempt. All right. So, using number of heroes, you use heroes from a specific faction. You can only use one healer. We'll see. Hopefully this is worth all the hoopla that they're trying to make here. When newly unlocked or after each season reset, players can clear up to 5 stages per day. Hidden chamber stages not counted. I hate this. I hate when you have limited stages per day. The fact that you can't just get it all done, right? There was a game that I used to play where they just opened it up and they said, if you want to clear all 100 floors in day one, go for it. But after you're done, you have to wait for a whole month before you can reset it again. So I don't think that this is needed here, that you can only do 5 stages per day. All right. If you miss a day, I hope that they allow you to at least then clear up 10 for the next day and not just have it restricted for 5 per day. So then you have to go and stay on top of it because then they want you to spend time in the game as long as possible. Okay, now there are some other quality of life changes that are occurring here. They're saying that they're going to increase the mithril drop in AMR. All right, we'll see if it makes a big difference. They increase the demon soldier drop rate in Drake's Chasm. All right, so in the Forerunner server, and I think I've seen it a couple of times in the global server, we have seen some drops of 10 shards just come in right after you open the chest. So I'm wondering if this just means now that we're going to see them a little bit more frequently. And the other thing here that's not specified is which level of Drake Castle. Is it all of them? Or are we just talking about Abyss 1, for example? So this here, I think, needs to be clarified because we know that when they just say we're just increasing the drop rate in Drake's Chasm, this could essentially probably mean only the top 3 levels and then everything else is normalized, right? But they don't specify this thing, so we're left guessing. They reduce the difficulty of defeating Saurian Grimscale in Drake's Chasm Abyss 1. Okay, so this is not a nerf to Abyss 1. This is just decreasing how much damage your guild needs to do for it to be brought down, right? So then you can get double the rewards. They optimize the acquisition difficulty of certain demon soldiers. We'll see about that. They optimize the instant victory performance in Void Rift. Okay, so I'm wondering if this is that toggle that I had suggested, which is to say, listen, if people want to experiment with a stage or they want to experiment with heroes, allow them to do it. And then if we just want to go ahead and cruise through it, let us toggle it on, and then we can just automatically clear it. Here's a nice one. So in promotion rate, insignia of marksman, and gear rate 3, it says that when we kill the monsters on a certain wave that we're dealing with, as soon as they are dead, the next wave comes along. So we don't have to wait for the next, we don't have to wait all that time. We're just waiting for things to pop back in so we're able to continue on with the battle. So essentially what this will do, it will decrease the amount of time that we have to spend on each stage, especially when we're farming. And so it should be able to be cleared quickly. So that's an intriguing thing. So yeah, so the big thing here was the buff to the heroes from the Cultist faction. So there's something coming down the pipeline. But also I think it's because they needed to entice us to summon for Anora. And we already know that she's a powerful hero, but to the level of a Sun Wukong or a Kigiri, she is not. All right. But at least they're trying their hardest to make sure that you do spend your 200 summons or that you purchase enough crystals to get to the 180 that you need or 200 that you're going to need to be able to get her into your account. All right. So that'll do it for Forerunner News. Thank you all very much for tuning and watching. I will see you all in the next video.